For food-gathering communities in remote tribal areas, lifestyle is a blend of the voices of the elements, oracles, and myths. Ancient practices like shifting cultivation continue even in the new age. Far removed from the world, the oracle could not transmit options as increasing populations reduced the cycle of shifting cultivation, halted regeneration of the land, and degraded it further. Here in Tripura, in northeast India, tribals like the Dev Burma are shy and inward-looking. They have been confined to jhoom or shifting cultivation and collection of forest produce. Dwindling resources and pest attacks brought them to the verge of starvation. Many had sizable amounts of land but were living far below the poverty line, with families surviving on 200 to 300 rupees, about $7 a month. Efforts to rehabilitate tribals in this region began way back in the 1960s. The attempts failed. In the early 90s, the Rubber Board decided to develop plantations where earlier rehabilitation schemes had failed. It was an effort that subsequently received tremendous political and official support. The aim was to establish rubber plantations with broader objectives, to wean tribals away from jhoom, restore the ecology, and develop sustainable income generation for the people.
Now, tribals over a period of time, or maybe years of deprivation and bad experiences, they were rather unwilling to listen to us also first. Then it took quite a deal of time to induce some kind of confidence in them, motivation in them, telling that we are with you. And then, surprisingly, they responded much faster than what we thought of the situation in terms of technical management, in terms of commitment, in terms of sincerity and so on.
Though there were many funding agencies, the project followed a single window approach. The participation of women ensured family involvement and success. It also empowered them to deal with political functionaries and administrative officials. Right through, it was not just the plantations, but people who were nurtured with frequent interpersonal contact and supportive inputs of roads, drinking water, creches for babies, and healthcare.
In the late 80s, that was a period when the rubber project itself was coming under close scrutiny, and there was a feeling, particularly among tribals, that this may not be the best crop for us because there were a lot of failures, and the net income from 1 hectare was not enough to support a family. So when we looked through that and we analyzed that, we thought there are some implementation problems.
Ensuring confidence and commitment through economic interventions like intercropping for immediate cash benefit was central to the implementation process. Within a decade, the lives of nearly 10,000 families in Tripura has dramatically changed. Families now earn up to 5,000 rupees a month, over $100. Almost 70% of the people engaged in rubber plantations now have bank accounts. Tripura alone has 100,000 hectares available for rubber plantations. The humid, subtropical climate of the entire northeast is suitable for such plantations. Rated as one of the best projects for economic rehabilitation of tribals, the rubber block plantation is poised for replication in the region. Rubber is an amazing, versatile raw material used in nearly 50,000 products across the world, from balloons to tires. Tripura is now the second largest rubber producing state in India after Kerala. The rubber board took over the land for 7 years and employed the tribals on wages to maintain the plantations. Meanwhile, they were also encouraged to take up non-rubber income generating activities like piggeries, fisheries and weaving. After 7 years, they started earning a regular income from tapping, knowing that 35 years later, the timber would bring them a substantial price.
In our country, agriculture marketing is a big problem. So here we took care of that also. We never stopped at the 7th year when the plantation came into tapping. And beyond that, we created infrastructure for group processing. And during these 7 years, we held them together as a group with total involvement and commitment of the families. We never took the individual beneficiary household head or the male head normally we call for. We were insisting that every meeting, every training, the family should participate.
আমাদের রবার শীটটা আমাদের কোনো জায়গা বিক্রি করেন না, শুধু রবার বুট মণিমালা কাছে আমরা সব কিছু বিক্রি করি। মাল বিক্রি করার পরে আমাদের এখানে চেক দেয়, চেকটা দেওয়া দেয়, চেকটা আমাদের বিশ্বের মধ্যে ব্যাংকে চেক জমা দেওয়া দেয়। চেক জমা দেওয়ার পরে 10 দিন 12 দিন পরে চেন যদি টাকাটা চেক মানে বাংলে আমাদের এটি আমাদের সব বেনিফিশিয়ারিকে ব্যাংকে অ্যাকাউন্ট মাধ্যমে টাকা পেমেন্ট করি।
The rubber plantation societies were instrumental in developing community involvement. The tribals, who are members, are involved in dissemination of knowledge, technology transfer, production, collection, processing, marketing, and distribution of money after sales. Community processing facilities such as this have been set up at the village level. Today, there are 53 centers to process the highest quality of ribbed smoked sheets, employing tribals who have been technically trained. With a 3- to 4-fold increase in income, tribals have accepted rubber plantations as a culturally compatible and sustainable means of livelihood. Word has spread from village to village, drawing more people into the project.
bol philinai lar sing bazara bol tolang yakha sini grini nogo maying yasi tabu sing bol ba phalan nangle ya khuk bo khlanya nangle ya kuno motte ka samung tangai ya sing sadara busabuti ran kisa misa private be pori man kha boy bo pai ri man kha ri bo pai ri man kha mo ha ka tabu kun motte ka dukhu dorong la ja khata
e a khugo ki chubu groi khlale no ke u dam dunya ka no I want to carry my young Gangan and Molas had both or racket teach both bushes righteous the more. Yea, or no, or Jotono, or Dongola Supungui, St. Robert Kanya, Rudui, or like Kali Mono. On I should been a fishery no, Hake, Mutankas had both her. The table take a move. Table tam Tiangan and tell say, oh, Ugurubadiro, Haye, air talk of Rui, Rang Sanorang, Hake point to Zaka or Zagawa.
Militancy is a fallout of deprivation and poor economic status. We have got about 2,500 families under our projects. I don't think any member from any of these families will take up militancy because you have money available, you have access to good things in life. So initially there was a lot of apprehension. Will we be only wage earners for the whole life, or will we have an access to the fruits of whatever is going to happen here? Well, when that was accomplished, things were totally different. The family involvement, particularly the women, they took command. They said, look, this is our property, we have to be the owners of it and we are going to enjoy the fruits of it. So there was a total attitudinal change when that happened. That ownership feeling came in. As you said, that is a very important factor for any development. Unless you have the entire involvement of the community and family, nothing can be sustainable because the moment you take the support out, it will collapse.
The story has come a long way from when trust was first developed. Confident and assured, the tribals now have a continuous source of income with a secure provident fund when they sell the timber 35 years down the line. nature's bounty can be beautiful and terrible. Communities dependent on the elements know that well enough. In the northeast of India, the state of Assam remains at the mercy of unpredictable monsoons and devastating floods. The state has witnessed massive deforestation in the past 50 years. The mighty Brahmaputra river brings fearsome reality, with annual floods repeatedly wiping out lives that people try to build again and again. In the midst of this grim scenario, the Assamese are turning adversity into prosperity. Nearly 75% of the population of the state is dependent on agriculture. What could a single crop economy threatened by the vagaries of the monsoon floods and dry winters bring, except stagnation, poverty, unemployment? But meet the new face of Assam, Ramakant.
তাতে পানীৰ অভাৱত খেতিটো হোৱা নাছিল এতিয়া তাৰমানে মোৰ কোনো পানীৰ মানে বৰষুণৰ কাৰণে চিন্তা কৰিব নালাগে মই তাত তাৰমানে ইচ্ছামতে চেল মেচিনটো যেতিয়া পানী লাগে তেতিয়া মই দিব পাৰোঁ আগৰ তুলনাত এতিয়া প্ৰডাকশ্যন বেছি আছে ধান বেছি পাইছোঁ মানে আজি কোনো অসুবিধা নাই আগতে চেল মেচিন লোৱা নাছিল তেতিয়া হয়তো ধান মানে বিঘাত 3-4 মন পৰিছিল এতিয়া বিঘাত 12 মন 15 মন লাগে পৰে 15 12 10 এনেকুৱা পৰে
SKY is an appropriate acronym for a scheme that has brought change. The Samriddh Krishak Yojana, or Integrated Farmer Project, has not just converted Assam into a successful rice cultivating state. It has brought the possibility of a previously unthinkable second crop in winter. In 1999, 18 districts in Assam were identified for increasing crop productivity through optimum utilization of groundwater at shallow depths. At the core of this program are shallow tube wells. Assam had a shortfall of about 600,000 metric tons of rice. With no irrigation facilities, people never cultivated winter crops. Nearly 300,000 shallow tube wells across the state has changed all that. Each shallow tube well irrigates about 2 hectares of land and almost doubles crop productivity. The government project received financial support from international and national agencies. But ultimately, it was economic viability that ensured farmer participation and success. Farmers paid almost $180, 1/3 of the total cost of 23,000 rupees for one shallow tube well. But each success story led to a ripple effect. Agriculture experts are now talking about Assam becoming India's flagship of an evergreen revolution, advancing without causing ecological or social harm. In fact, it will have a considerable effect on people waiting for change. Nearly 90% of the population has been living in rural areas with no infrastructure or employment opportunities. The SKY project has come as a savior for those who are involved in direct or off-farm employment. There was a time when the monsoon brought floods and wiped out crops, and there were no irrigation facilities. Today, Fazal can dare to hope and plan for the future.
আগৰ পৰাই ধৰক আগত দিলে আমি 10 বিঘা মাটি খেতি কৰি কবাত 40 মন কবাত 35 মন ধান পাইছিলোঁ ইতে মানে আমি 5 বিঘা মাটি খেতি কৰিলেও আমি 70-75 মন মান ধান পাওঁ বাইছিলে আগত মানে অলপ খেৰি ঘৰত কিবা কৰি হামুটি আছিল ইতে মানে এই খেতিটো কৰাৰ পিছত মানে তিন চাইলা হলি কৰছো এখন ঘৰলৈ কিবা কৰি তাৰে বিজে মানে বনাইছো আৰু মানে সুখত মানে আগত কৰি জানাম অভাৱ অভিযোজন আছিল অভাৱটোৰ গুছি গল তাৰে খেতিৰ ধানে দি অলপ খাই বৈ যদি বেছি হয় তাৰে কিবা কানি অলপ মানে বেচা কিনা কৰো কৰি ফেলে এই চাই চলি কাপোৰ কানি আৰু ধৰক মানে স্কুলৰ খৰচ।
The shallow tube well project is now poised for futuristic planning. There is a widespread response among farmers, resulting in change. It needs extension workers like Mohammed Tahir Ali to sustain, support and feedback for the farmers. It demands infrastructure support for storage, processing and marketing that can keep the economic cycle active and enable the sleeping giant of Indian agriculture to truly become a sustainable evergreen revolution. Many young men like Shamnor now have job opportunities in rural areas that they never had in the past. Assam has a large percentage of educated unemployed in the rural areas. The Sky project has been able to generate additional employment for nearly 200,000 people in the agricultural sector. Farmers who have experienced the benefit of cash crops in winter are already thinking of changes in agricultural practice. Dealers of seeds, fertilizers, pesticides find their businesses have begun to flourish with the new choices of farmers. The local population is looking forward to plans that can enhance agro-related units to support the new surge in Assam's agriculture scenario. At the root is the Assamese farmers' wisdom, choice and hope for the future.
এতিয়া পৰিকল্পনা মানে মই এটা আধুনিক পদ্ধতিত খেতি কৰিব বিচাৰিছোঁ। সেই হিচাপে তাৰমানে চেলো আৰু মই এটা বহাব বিচাৰিছোঁ আৰু এক জেগা। এতিয়া মানে মই ৰবি শস্যত বেছি মানে গুৰুত্ব দিব বিচাৰিছোঁ। ধানটো তাৰমানে এতিয়া ধানৰ কাৰণে কি হ'ল মানে ডিজেলৰ দাম বেছি হোৱাৰ কাৰণে এতিয়া মানে বেছি খৰচ বেছি হয়। ৰবি শস্যত খৰচটো কম হয়। ৰবি শস্যত কি কিবা এটা বস্তু বিক্ৰী কৰি পেলাই তেলটো বা ঔষধটো আনিব পৰা যায়। এতিয়া ধানটোতো বিক্ৰী কৰিব নোৱাৰে, ধানটো আমাৰ খাব লাগে বা বিক্ৰী হ'লেও বেছি দাম পোৱা নাযায়। সেইটো কাৰণে তাৰমানে মই বেছি ৰবি শস্যত মনোযোগ দিছোঁ আৰু ৰবি শস্য ভালকৈ কৰিম বুলি ভাবিছোঁ।
বাচ্চাদেরকে আমি মানে ওরা যেভাবে পড়তে চায় আমি তাদেরকে ঠিক সেইভাবে ওদের মনের সঙ্গে ওদের মানে আগ্রহের সঙ্গে আমি ওদের সঙ্গে মিশে যাই। ওরা যেভাবে পড়তে চায় আমি ঠিক তাদেরকে সেইভাবে মনের সঙ্গে আমি ওদেরকে নিয়ে আসি এবং ওরাও আমার সঙ্গে আগ্রহী হন, আমিও ওদেরকে আগ্রহ হই।
Rebecca represents a surging new voice of primary education in India's eastern state of West Bengal. The literacy rate of the state has always been higher than India's average, yet it is still far from the Millennium Development Goal of primary education for all. In ancient times, large sections of society were deprived of education because of the caste system. They continued to remain deprived in colonial and post-colonial times. Imprisoned in remote or inaccessible areas, communities like agricultural laborers have been the worst victims. More than half of them are illiterate. There is no literate adult in nearly 30% of households in rural Bengal. About 52,000 primary schools are inadequate for the large number of children who remain out of school. Seven million children in West Bengal between the age of 6 and 10 do not complete their primary education. Bogged down by illiteracy, millions have been locked in the cycle of poverty.
এই এলাকা এত ডাউন ছিল যেখানকার ছেলেরা লেখাপড়া শেখার বললাম তো একটা কথা সুযোগ পায়নি। বিষ্ণুপুরের মতন স্কুলে এই এলাকার ছেলেকে পাবে না, এবং সুযোগও ছিল না, রাস্তাঘাট ছিল না। এখন যারা একটু অবস্থাপূর্ণ লোক তারা বাইরে থেকে লেখাপড়া শিখেছে, আর মেয়ে যারা শিক্ষিত হয়েছে তো ধারালোকে তো দেবে না, দেবে কি? তাহলে সেই শিক্ষা যারা অর্জন করেছিল তখন মেয়েগুলো সব বাইরে থেকে এসে তাদের বিয়ে দিল।
It was in 1997 that West Bengal launched the village-level SSK, or the Shishu Shiksha Karmasuchi scheme, a totally demand-driven alternate education system with populist appeal.
The key factors which we believe has led to success of this program are basically the ownership of the community, because this is a program in which the ownership is rests with the community. They organize these schools, so they feel that for their children they should give their best. So that sense of belonging, that sense of ownership allows them to get fully involved with this program. For each SSK there is one managing committee. This committee has 9 members, out of which 7 are guardians whose children are in the school. They are the committee which is owning the school, and they manage it on a day-to-day basis.
The involvement of the communities has been remarkable. In Bagdoba, village elder Ziadur Rahman has donated land for the school.
2 years ago we gave a call that whatever village that exists in our state where their children do not have access to school within a kilometer, they are at liberty to come with the proposal. So by last year we had 16,403 SSKs and we had engaged 39,024 Sahayikas to run these schools. Then there is a committee at the Gram Panchayat level, the Committee on Education. Their role is basically to provide other support, the infrastructural support, whatever community support is needed at that level.
Today, the committee is discussing how to ensure cooking facilities for the midday meal at the school, so that it is children who get the food. The Panchayati Raj, or village-level institutions, play a crucial role. If the decision-making process for a school proposal takes more than 4 weeks at any level, the village can automatically presume clearance. At the grassroots level, radio broadcasts are used to maintain a constant interactive communication link with village teachers. The Sahayikas, or teachers, are not trained in pedagogy. But in such workshops, they receive training in some basic teaching methodology. All SSK teachers take part in such workshops.
I have personally met many Sahayikas who said that this is a tremendous opportunity for me to serve the community. I was not doing much, the money is not so much of which I am getting. But that I have got an opportunity to serve my own society, to really do the formation level training for my own children. That has given them a tremendous moral boost.
যে বাচ্চারা যাতে শিখবে, বড় হবে, তারা লেখাপড়া শিখে, যে সমস্ত গ্রামের বাচ্চারা আর কি ঘুরে ঘুরে বেড়াচ্ছে তারা যাতে ঘুরে না বেড়ায়, যারা শিক্ষায় আসে শিক্ষার আলো দেখে, এবং তারা যেন ভবিষ্যতে আরও শিক্ষার সঙ্গে এগিয়ে যায় এবং আমাদের সমাজটা যাতে উন্নত হয়।
Rebecca is on her way to school. The village guardians monitor her attendance, which is a mandatory 90%. In many cases, committees even raise funds to give teachers enhanced salaries. Such interventions have made SSKs a successful community-based program managed by the stakeholders, the villagers themselves. Within just 4 years, the increase in the number of children taking advantage of this alternate system has been tenfold, from about 10,000 children to over 100,000. Situated within easy access of 1 kilometer of the village, There were about 250 such SSK schools in 1997. The numbers grew faster than official documents could keep pace with. By 2004, there were over 16,000 SSKs. As an alternative, SSKs revolved around key issues that prevented children from attending school. Nearby access, suitable timings, resident teachers, the community's role in management. These factors have had a direct impact on the accountability of teachers and retention of students. But questions are already being raised. Will these children become victims of class differentiation in school education? This is a direct pointer for the formal education system to change by responding to local needs.
আমার প্রথম থেকেই আমি শিক্ষা ভালোবাসি এবং আমি যে পরিবেশে মানুষ হয়েছি সেই পরিবেশে সমস্ত মানুষই শিক্ষার সঙ্গে আগ্রহী আর শিক্ষাকে ভালোবাসেন এবং আমার মা প্রথম থেকেই আমাকে প্রচণ্ড হারে শিক্ষা দেন এবং আমার সেই মায়ের আগ্রহ নিয়ে আমি সেই শিক্ষা এবং বাচ্চাদেরকে নিয়ে শিক্ষা দিতে আমি খুব প্রস্তুত।